Epic collapse of the Chinese economy, Xi Jinping might take a final high-stakes gamble. Ominous premonition of catastrophe? 5,800 square kilometers subside in northern China. Hebei province erupts in unprecedented water spouts and boiling phenomena. Simultaneous detonation of time bombs. Chinese millionaires urged to flee. It's all covered in today's China Truths. Epic collapse in Chinese economic history. 11 might embark on a high-stakes gamble. China is experiencing a rapid eruption of issues spanning from the economy to people's livelihoods. Last Friday, the A-share market unexpectedly experienced the largest drop of the year, with a collective decline of over 2%. Just before the stock market's closing, the CCP's central bank released a set of market-disrupting data, revealing an astounding 89% plummet in new loans for July, with housing loans dropping nearly 78% in comparison to the expected and previous values. Concurrently, China's M2 broad money supply increased by 10.7% year-on-year in July. In other words, despite the CCP's money-printing efforts, no one is taking out loans anymore. Scholars and observers are astounded, remarking that while official data has historically been manipulated, the release of such abysmal indicators suggests that the actual situation might have deteriorated beyond concealment. China's economy likely experienced a substantial collapse in July. Some have even described this as an all-encompassing, epic collapse. A self-media figure questions how, during Friday's stock market crash, there were individuals selling frantically as soon as the market opened, indicating that some were attempting to make their escape. The question arises, how did these individuals foresee the central bank's impending release of this data several hours in advance? When these individuals exit, small investors are left trapped. The next step might very well be a collapse in the Chinese yuan's exchange rate. Another piece of bad news concerns the collapse of Zhongrong Trust, one of China's leading integrated financial service providers. A screenshot from an internal employee's social media circle has started circulating online, revealing that Zhongrong provided no internal warning prior to the collapse. Currently, the funds that customers cannot retrieve are in the tens of billions of yuan. Tensions naturally focus on the frontline wealth managers of Zhongrong Trust. Now, personal safety can't even be assured. Many wealth managers are arranging school transfers for their children, divorcing their spouses, cutting ties with their families, and heading alone into this seemingly inevitable battle. Furthermore, many listed companies and even state-owned holding corporations have been affected. In the face of this colossal disaster, the top echelons of Zhongrong Trust remain silent, leaving frontline employees to face the heat, having them explain directly to clients. Some predict that issues spanning from real estate to local government debts will coalesce, leading China into an imminent financial tsunami. Just as during the flooding in North China, where the low-lying Xiongnan area remained unscathed while the higher-altitude Zhuozhou suffered, under the Chinese Communist Party system, once economic troubles arise, the common people suffer the most. What's even worse is that the authorities haven't given any warnings to the citizens. Instead, they simultaneously suppress private analyses and fabricate favorable lies to deceive the public. A self-media figure, Lao Man, who has been consistently issuing warnings about China's economy in recent years, posted an article on the 13th expressing his lament. He noted that the Chinese people have made no preparations for the arrival of a crisis, whether psychologically or physically. Until this very moment, 99.999% of Chinese people simply do not believe that an economic crisis will occur in China. Furthermore, due to the government's erratic maneuvers, this crisis is on the brink of deteriorating into a financial crisis. The less the entire populace is prepared, the more severe the consequences of the crisis will be. Notably, Yao Cheng, a staff officer and colonel at the former Navy Command Headquarters, is worried about another matter. On the 12th, he posted a warning, asserting that Xi Jinping's performance in almost all domains has been disastrous, leaving no means of turning things around. The only option left is to launch an attack on Taiwan. He believes that by conquering Taiwan, Xi could divert attention from numerous flaws and secure his historical legacy. Yao Cheng is certain that Xi Jinping would gamble with the lives of all Chinese citizens to achieve this goal, and all of this is expected to unfold within 3 to 5 years. Ominous premonition of catastrophe? 5,800 square kilometers subside in northern China. Hebei province erupts in unprecedented water spouts and boiling phenomena. In recent years, peculiar phenomena have been emerging endlessly in mainland China. For instance, species that have disappeared for a century reappear, rare typhoons occur frequently, and recently, after severe flooding in Hebei followed by receding waters, there has been an unusual phenomenon of bubbling in Baoding. This has naturally sparked the curiosity of the public, leaving them wondering what exactly is causing the land to bubble frantically. In response to this, an article on the WeChat public account Wife King on the 13th analyzes the recent frequent heavy rainfall in the northern region of China, leading to extensive surface water appearing in Hebei, an area that had been suffering from drought for many years. However, a small accumulation of water on southern lands is quite normal. Yet, land flooding across the entire northern region of China is an extraordinary occurrence, especially in Hebei, where there hasn't been any flooding for decades. Due to the long-lasting drought, the northern region of China has had to heavily extract groundwater. For over 40 years, excessive groundwater extraction has caused the groundwater levels in the entire northern region to drop by dozens of meters. This means that beneath the seemingly normal land, there has long been severe drought. Even if you were to dig down 10 meters or even 20 meters, it would be difficult to find water. Everything underneath is dry soil. Even if the amount of rainfall is sufficient to moisten all the soil beneath the surface, there are still huge voids underneath these dry surface layers. These are all created by years of underground water extraction. It's impossible to fill up these voids with water. The article provided an example. It's akin to putting an empty mineral water bottle into a pool of water. The water will flow into the bottle, causing it to release bubbles vigorously. This serves as the core reason for the land in Hebei bubbling intensely. A significant amount of underground water is being swiftly replenished. In regions with substantial soil gaps or interconnected voids, this phenomenon of bubbling arises. While it's widely known that China's northern region has been extensively extracting groundwater for years, resulting in notable declines in groundwater levels and occurrences of ground subsidence, only a few have truly explored the intricate details. China News Network emphasized China's severe drought and water scarcity concerns. With per capita water resources at just 2,300 cubic meters, a mere quarter of the global average, China stands among the countries with the most limited per capita water resources worldwide. Simultaneously, China's water resources are distributed unevenly, with a higher concentration in the southern regions and significantly less in the north. Following this trajectory, Hebei Province's Water Resources Department discloses that per capita water resources in Hebei are under 300 cubic meters, well below both the national average and the internationally recognized extremely water-scarce standard of 500 cubic meters per capita. In simpler terms, a substantial disparity exists between the water demand and actual rainfall in Hebei Province, and the underground water resources are fundamentally inadequate to bridge this gap. According to national statistics, by the end of 2013, Hebei Province had cumulatively overdrafted groundwater by 150 billion cubic meters over a span of more than 40 years, resulting in the formation of 7 major funnel-shaped subsidence areas covering about 70,000 square kilometers. This has also contributed to substantial ground subsidence in various regions across China. Among them, as indicated by data from the Institute of Hydrogeology and Environmental Geology of the China Geological Survey in April 2022, the North China Plain stands out as the region with the most severe ground subsidence nationwide. Specifically, in 2018, the area affected by severe subsidence reached 5,800 square kilometers, accounting for 99.8% of the nationwide total. Beijing experienced the greatest cumulative subsidence of about 1.2 meters, Tianjin had a maximum cumulative subsidence of 3.25 meters, and cities like Zhengzhou and Hebei and Dezhou and Shandong also witnessed substantial subsidence. Additionally, ground subsidence has led to the sinking and cracking of railway embankments, buildings, underground pipelines, and has endangered dikes and river channels, posing a crisis. The crucial flood control sections of the Nanyun River have subsided by approximately 1 meter. It is estimated that the economic losses caused by the entire North China Plains ground subsidence amount to over 330 billion yuan, approximately $45.6 billion US dollars. So, what does it mean when the ground sinks by more than 1 meter, or even 3 meters? It's akin to a car directly falling into a large sinkhole. Analysts believe that this phenomenon has now spread to the capital, Beijing, and in the future, it could potentially devastate the entire city. Given this series of challenges, people have begun to reflect on whether the CCP's advocated South-North water diversion project and its assertion of fighting against heaven and battling the earth are reliable strategies. Why did ancient North China experience abundant harvests, while modern rivers suffer from water shortages? Could this be related to the CCP's call for extensive groundwater extraction, coupled with the failures of water management projects? Simultaneous detonation of time bombs, Chinese millionaires urged to flee. As reported, an article from China's The Paper on August 10 confirmed that Hebei, the chairman of Weilian Group, the largest China-US immigration intermediary company in Shanghai, was officially criminally detained by the Shanghai Public Security Bureau. Additionally, 5 employees of the company were detained on suspicion of involvement in illegal foreign exchange trading, underground remittance activities, and generating illicit gains exceeding 100 million yuan. Reports suggest that the authorities have also requested the company to provide immigration-related documents spanning several decades, although this information has not been verified at present. The incident has immediately sparked discussions surrounding China's capital flows and foreign exchange controls. Financial scholar He Jiangbing told Radio Free Asia that this incident should be seen as a signal of China's severe economic situation. He stated, "The authorities are tightly controlling the liquidity of capital and preventing free conversion between the Chinese yuan and foreign currencies to maintain the independence of their currency and exchange rate stability against the US dollar. It must restrict itself in terms of freely convertible currencies. This is a very clear signal. They won't let it be exchanged, and they won't let it go out." Following the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic, there has been an increase rather than a decrease in the number of Chinese immigration applications. The South China Morning Post reported in June that given the persistently weak economic conditions, lingering effects of the pandemic, and strained relations with major trading partners, China may once again witness the world's largest exodus of million-dollar millionaires this year. Henley & Partners, a prominent UK consulting firm, predicts that mainland China will lose 13,500 high-net-worth individuals with at least $1 million in investment wealth, this year, surpassing last year's loss of 10,800 high-net-worth individuals, setting a new record. According to Zhang Lei, a Chinese individual engaged in immigration consulting in the United States for many years, China's foreign exchange control limit is $50,000 per person per year. If one is applying for immigration, taking the example of the EB-5 visa, which grants permanent residency to foreign entrepreneurs investing in the U.S., the investment amount used to be $500,000, but now it's $800,000. If one wants to remit more foreign exchange than the limit, it has to be done by splitting the remittances, which constitutes illegal foreign exchange trading. Zhang Lei emphasized that this virtually declares that nearly everyone pursuing investment immigration is breaking the law. Furthermore, this case provides the CCP police with the grounds for investigations. Subsequent scrutiny of immigration companies and the punishment of individuals involved in illegal foreign exchange trading will likely become another major source of revenue for the CCP authorities. Zhang Lei candidly said, "Chinese millionaires, hurry and run. If you wait any longer, you'll end up behind bars." Given that it's illegal, why has the CCP only recently decided to investigate immigration companies? Outsiders believe that aside from extorting money from these wealthy individuals or exploiting them, the CCP may also be seeking to acquire knowledge about the financial backgrounds of Chinese people who emigrate overseas. Xi Jinping enters unprecedented state of fear. Current affairs commentator Cheng Xiang believes that the true purpose of the CCP in these actions is not about money, but about ensuring political stability. This is because Xi Jinping perceives that both the officials and the public who emigrate overseas might be potential spies and latent crises, which could affect the security of his regime. Chen told the Vision Times that Li Hongzhong, vice chairman of the National People's Congress, once said, "Loyalty is not absolute, and absolute is not loyal." High-ranking CCP officials have been simultaneously holding positions while transferring embezzled money abroad over the past few decades. For the CCP, this behavior represents incomplete loyalty and is absolutely disloyal. Therefore, the CCP is collecting information on corrupt officials who have emigrated abroad. Some say that the CCP wants to harvest from them, but what's more important is their political loyalty. Ching points out, this indicates that Xi Jinping's regime has entered an unprecedented state of fear. He believes that anyone with connections to foreign countries might threaten the security of his regime. That's why he's launching mass spy-catching activities and investigating whether those who have emigrated overseas pose potential risks. I don't think he's trying to reclaim the money they fled with. More importantly, he wants to identify those who might be foreign spies or anti-Xi individuals. The CCP's counter-espionage law came into effect on July 1, and a mobilization order was issued via WeChat, calling on the entire population to report spies. Recently, the Tongbai County Public Security Bureau in Hunan Province released a short film titled Searching for the Walking 500,000, encouraging citizens to report spies to the government, with the possibility of receiving a maximum reward of 500,000 renminbi, approximately $69,000. Qing Xiang says that the CCP has numerous overseas liaison offices. Individuals accused by the CCP as spies, their families, also become targets of CCP intimidation. 3 timed bombs have been set off, leaving the CCP helpless. Political commentator Zhou Xiaohui points out that the CCP's timed bombs in the political sphere have begun counting down. For instance, the recent dismissal of Foreign Minister Qin Gang and the sweeping removal of top-ranking officials within the rocket forces are signs. The highest echelons repeatedly emphasize loyalty and incite the entire nation against espionage, indicating underlying turbulence within the CCP. While Xi Jinping seems to wield ultimate power on the surface, there are still many dissenters within. A ticking bomb of financial crisis, Fox exampled the requests from Zhejiang province to tighten budgets and delays in paying police salaries and dalian. This dissatisfaction is affecting loyal government employees who work for the CCP. The CCP has even openly admitted that officials are adopting a doomsday mentality, becoming passive in their governance and transferring their families and assets overseas, ready to flee at any moment. A ticking time bomb in the economic sector, including the United States choking off Chinese technology and accelerating economic decoupling, successive collapses in the real estate and financial sectors, a drastic 89% decrease in new loans by China's banks in July compared to June, showcasing severe market confidence issues. A ticking time bomb in the societal sphere, the CCP's high-pressure rule internally coupled with the deteriorating economy, the financial system's exploitation of the populace, and the CCP's evasion of responsibility in man-made disasters have been causing growing discontent and resentment among the people. These occurrences are waking the public up time and time again. For instance, in the recent floods in North China and Northeast China, social media no longer sees rallying cries, people are no longer donating, and flood victims are daring to stand up and demand compensation. He points out that in a society simmering with public grievances, where more and more people are saying no to defend their interests, this rising public outcry could likely drive the CCP's knowledgeable individuals from within to dismantle the CCP. The CCP's internal bomb is also about to explode. Shanghai is the capital of China's economy and the old stronghold of the late CCP leader Jiang Zemin. During Jiang's rule of China, he led CCP officials to quietly amass wealth, giving rise to a portrayal of a thoroughly corrupt CCP officialdom. After the CCP's 18th National Congress, she launched the anti-corruption campaign, taking down hundreds of high-ranking officials, tigers, to intimidate the lower-level ones, monkeys, along with millions of lower-level officials, flies, antagonizing the entire interest group of corrupt officials led by Jiang Zemin and Xing Qinghong. By the time of the CCP's 19th National Congress, in order to secure the CCP's political power, Xi Jinping didn't dare to capture the big tigers and compromised with the Jiang faction. However, after nearly a decade of the anti-corruption movement, it has stirred up fundamental interests throughout the layers and factions of the CCP, fueling the anti-Xi forces born out of resentment. This ongoing power struggle within the CCP has escalated further. These CCP officials had long been transferring a significant amount of assets overseas. If the lid is lifted on this extensive corruption, the legitimacy of the CCP's regime could crumble, leading to a rapid downfall. During the CCP's Beidei conference, the chairman of Shanghai's largest immigration company was arrested. This might be Xi Jinping's warning to the anti-Xi forces, a sign of mutual destruction. This ticking time bomb of long-standing infighting within the CCP is likely to explode soon. Don't forget to leave a comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. Make sure to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from China Truths.